The views on a Breath of Fresh Air podcast reflects the parties involved, and we encourage you all to use it as a conversational tool that will lead to personal studies of your own.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Welcome to a Breath of Fresh Air podcast. Here with your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz Gay. As a young person, Christianity can be so foggy, like smoke in the mirrors and so unclear. But we're here to bring you a breath of fresh air.
All right, gentlemen, you probably wondered why I've assembled you. I've spoken to the Lord. As you all see, we are approaching the land of Canaan. The Lord instructed me to take 12 of you, each of you a leader in your respective tribes. I have assembled you all to be spies in the land of Canaan. You would spend days there, and you would come back to me with a report, scoping out everything, the weaknesses, the strengths, and letting us know the possibility of this mission. So be brave, go with God, and do not mess this up. Welcome back, gentlemen. I'm hoping that you all have good news. So what's the report?
We went into the land which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Look, here is its fruit.
But the people who live there were powerful, and their cities are fortified, and they are very large. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in Negev, the Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near Jordan.
Everybody listen. We should go up and take possession of the land, but through God we certainly can do it.
Whoa, what you say? Take possession of what land? Not that land. Man, we can't attack them people. They stronger than we are. And the land we explored devours those living in it, and the people we saw of great size. You ain't hear me. We saw the descendants of Anak there. You know you were scared when we was over there.
Listen, we can do it. We have God on our side.
God on our side? But you ain't, I didn't say this, but you ain't see the size of Anak? Big man, look at this. These grapes we brought back. Whenever you see two people carry grapes in your life.
I don't care how big these dudes is. My God is bigger.
Bro, guys, y'all know we can't take this land. We don't know why we here. We've been wandering this desert for like a year, man. We ain't going to Canaan, man. Let's just face it. We're not going to Canaan. We're not conquering this land. Not conquering this land. Not conquering this land. Not conquering this land. The time had finally come when the children of Israel were on the outskirts of the land of Canaan, the promised land. They were finally so close to the land that Jacob left all those years ago to make his way to Egypt to have refuge from the famine. Moses had a plan to send 12 spies into the land to give a report to the entire Israelite camp. In this episode, we will be discussing Numbers chapter 13 through 15 and discussing the account of the 12 spies who went into Canaan. Please be blessed and enjoy. All right, welcome back to another episode of Breath of Fresh Air, a breath of fresh air. I know I was fumbling a little bit there. Thank you all for tuning in again. So I guess we'll just get into it. So last week we covered the beginning of the book of Numbers, and we see now how it's the real book's title really should be in the wilderness, and it's really a journey, and it's really a journey. Record of the journey of the children of Israel as they journeyed from Mount Sinai to the Promised Land through the desert. And so we saw them leaving the mountain, how the tribes were set up, the census that was taken at the beginning, how the Levites had their own special roles. We also dealt with the Nazarite. What was a Nazarite there? Special covenant with the Lord. I was going to say conviction. I was like,
I mean, true.
It is a conviction. I was like, it's a little deeper.
Yeah, definitely. And I was saying too, like some of the nods, like I just be thinking, like suppose you wanted a different career, you know what I mean? You dedicated for the Lord, and it just go to show like the difference between what you could be called to do and what you could be passionate about. That's something that we touched briefly last week. what's interesting to me about the Book of Numbers, we were saying it's also called it was initially named in the wilderness, or the wilderness story, some adaptation of that. And we know that this is the passage, bro. This is the passage when they traveled from the point where they first settled in Exodus to now the promised land. And it's not even halfway through and they there. You understand what I'm saying? Like as of this chapter right now, chapter 12, where we about to start. 13, where we about to start. They already made it to the promised land. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't even that long of a journey. So it's about 2 years, a little over 2 years maybe, that they had been traveling, or since they left.
It wasn't even really
Egypt.
2 years when you think about it, because remember, they was parked at Mount Sinai for like 2 years. So it wasn't really traveling. You just was like at the base of the mountains, just set up. Like they built a tabernacle there. They got the law of the 10 Commandments, and they just was there.
Yeah, and I'm saying 2 years since they left Egypt.
Yeah,
like,
2 years since they left Egypt.
Right. So that, you remember when we was in high school, bro, they talked about building a new facility for our school. We've heard that for a long time. Oh,
Yes.
this year is gonna, so some things take time and it's hard to predict, but this is pretty quick. And you know what? They also prolonged a lot of stuff too, just by their attitude. But here we are. You know what I'm saying? Numbers chapter 13.
Yeah, so Numbers 13 starts up with the Lord said to Moses, send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each ancestral tribe, send one of its leaders. So right here, the Lord said, I'm giving you this land. Just go explore it. And that's just really important right there.
So before this even start, you already know you get this land is yours for the taking.
Exactly.
So that's how the story even starts.
So at the Lord's command, he sent them out. Moses sent them out from the desert of Paran. All of them were leaders of the Israelites. These are their names. From the tribe of Reuben, Shammua, son of Zachor. From the tribe of Simeon, Shaphat, son of Hori. From the tribe of Judah, Caleb, son of Jephunneth. From the tribe of Issachar, Egal, son of Joseph. From the tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea, son of Nun, who was also Joseph. I mean, not Joseph, Joshua.
Yeah.
Joshua, by the way, Joshua, son of Nun. That's all. I always just remember that. From the tribe of Benjamin, Palti, son of Raphu. From the tribe of Zebulun, Gedial, son of Sodai. From the tribe of Manasseh, a tribe of Joseph, Gadi, son of Sushi. Or Susi?
I was going to say sushi, but...
Anyway, moving along. From the tribe of Dan, Amiel, son of Gamali. From the tribe of Asher, Sethor, son of Michael. I love normal names.
Finally.
From the tribe of Naphtali, Nabi, son of
Vofsi.
From the tribe of Gad, Guel, son of Maki.
So one thing I want to say before we even remember verse 3, all of them were leaders of the Israelites. So these wasn't just random able-bodied men who they picked. These were 10, was it 12? 12 leaders and just men of, I guess, men who understand, who've been around, and like qualified men and trusted men to go and inspect the land, truthfully. So I just wanted to plant that seed there.
And we see when Moses sent them to explore the land of Canaan, he said, go up through Negev and into the hill country, see what the land is like and whether the people who live there are strong or weak, few or many. What kind of land do they live in? Is it good or bad? What kind of towns do they live in? Are they walled or fortified? How is the soil? Is it fertile or poor? Are there trees in it or not? Do your best to bring back some of the fruit of the land. It was the season of first ripe grapes. And it's also kind of important too, because I remember these people, they never were in the land of Canaan. All they knew was Egypt.
Yep.
So now you see, they're like, okay, this is the land God has given us. Let's just go and scout it out. Let's actually see what we're about to take. And so pick it up in verse 21. So they went up and explored the land from the desert of Sin as far as Rehob toward Libo. Interesting. I actually had a guy in college whose last name was Libo. Yeah, interesting. Hamath. They went up through Negev and came to Hebron, where Ashiman, Shishai, and Talmai, the descendants of Anak, live. Hebron had been built 7 years before Zoan in Egypt. When they reached the valley of Eshcol, they cut off a branch bearing a single cluster of grapes. 2 of them carried it on a pole between them, along with pomegranates and figs. That place was called the Valley of Eshcol because of the cluster of grapes the Israelites cut off there. At the end of the 40 days, they returned from exploring the land.
Must have been some big grapes, man.
But I'm like, just think about a normal cluster of grapes that we're used to seeing.
Handheld.
Yes. Yes. Now you imagine a cluster of grapes with 2 men have to carry on a pole.
Bro, imagine how heavy the cluster have to be that one man can't carry it, because you could lift 50, 60 pounds of something. You understand what I'm saying? Of one cluster, bro. See, because like, just imagine a baby, right? An infant baby, probably like, I don't know, like 10, 15 pounds, I'm guessing. You hold that baby, got a little weight to it. No lie, a little density to that. Imagine a cluster of grapes that weigh as much as a baby. And you're just like, bro, that would be a heavy cluster of grapes. Just
Yeah, like 6 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah, you understand? It's a cluster now. But imagine one that I can't lift by myself. I need me and another leader have to come together with a pole to lift one cluster of grapes. That's crazy. Like, these must have been pretty big grapes and definitely heavy grapes.
At the same time, you see they was really drinking a lot of wine. That's why you have these Nazarites.
Definitely.
So now you see after the 40 days, they came back to Moses. So they came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the land of Paran, in the desert of Paran. There they reported to the whole assembly, and showed them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses this account. We went into the land which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. But the people who live there are powerful. The cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Anak there. The Amalekites live in Negev. The Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites live in the hill country, and the Canaanites live near the sea along Jordan. The reason why I pause here too is, like, remember when God was giving a promise to Moses?
I got you right now. Exodus 13, verse 5. When today in the month of Aviv you are leaving, when the Lord brings you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, the land he swore to your ancestors to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey. Exodus 13, bro.
So I'm like, yeah, it's a correct report, but God already tell you, like, I'm giving you the land with all these people in it.
Exactly. Like, this is no shocker. You understand what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, because it was said, and don't get me wrong, God has said this many times in the book of Exodus, bro. It almost became repetitive. Like, he never even summarized it. Remember the people in Canaan who I told you? No, he's like the Canaanites, Amorites, and he say them by name
every time.
So now you're at the promised land, the land that you talked about the whole time, the land flowing of milk and honey. What else would you expect to see there than the people that God already told you he was going to drive out of there? You know, so this should just be prophecy fulfilled from him.
Man, but now we see Caleb. Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we certainly can do it." All right, so Caleb saying we can take this. But Caleb from the tribe of Judah, the line of the tribe of Judah. Caleb's like, yo, we got this. Let's go. But the men who had gone up with him said, we can't attack these people. They are stronger than we are. And they are spreading, and they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land that they had explored. They said, the land we explored devours those living in it. All we saw there are people of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the descendants of Anak, who came from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. So, where do you think these giants come from, bro?
They said it's descendants of Anak, right? In the NIV, the NIV version, they have like a commentary that says the descendants of Anak. This is verse 33. The descendants of Anak came from the Nephilim. In the King James version, they say giants. And this goes back all the way to the lineage story. And that's funny though, because when you think about the book of Numbers, right, you just think about lineages and stuff like that. If you haven't really read the book, it's a misconception that it's really just a bunch of lineages. But in the lineage text in Genesis, in early Genesis, they talk about the Nephilims. they say the daughters of men and the sons of God combined, well, they procreated together, and then there were Nephilims in the land. So here we can see the descendants of these Nephilims are still super tall, freakishly huge beings. You understand what I'm saying? And it would make sense too, because the Israelites were not to mix with the Canaanites, right? Oh, but this is so weird to me because the flood happened already.
Yeah.
So how would that align? So it can't be the direct. So all right. So they did came from the Nephilim, right? But that this wouldn't exactly be a direct line from like the children of Canaan and like just the daughters of men type of situation. It would have had to happen again. You understand what I'm saying? They would have had to been a line or a race of giants post flood that came about again.
I mean, which we kind of know too, because remember David and Goliath.
Exactly.
Goliath was a giant in the Philistine camp.
Exactly. And remember, God didn't want the Israelites to walk through the Philistines initially because that was the shorter route to get to the promised land, because he knew they lacked faith. And so we have a situation now, 2+ years later, they back into this land now from the other side, and they're like, oh, giants. And remember you mentioned earlier, everyone in this Hebrew race, even though their forefathers were from the land of Canaan initially, they had never lived in Canaan before. They only lived in Egypt. And so now they're in a faraway land, and it's a completely different culture. It's like a culture shock to them. Whoa, these grapes so big, 2 of us got to carry that. In this land, in the land flowing of milk and honey, this was probably just regular to them. They used to milk and honey. They used to stuff in abundance just like that, you know? They used to seeing giants because... You see, the Bible just give us a footnote like these from the Nephilim. They say the Nephilim. They didn't even take the time to describe the stuff. It's like it's already known fact type of situation. So right now, like the people during this time, definitely, bro, they had giants around, bro.
And they had, like, they understood who the Nephilim were. They're like, oh yeah, we heard about Nephilim. Oh, well, that's the Nephilim.
And then, like you say, David and Goliath. We know for sure. The Bible definitely speaks about a giant. This was probably the most infamous giant there. And you got to think about the area where you from. This is area right here, bro. Like,
Philistine.
You
You
understand what I'm saying? And so yeah, bro. Like, but let's be real now, bro. If you used to fighting people 6 foot, below 7 foot, everyone you ever fight was below 7 foot. Then you got someone 8, 9 foot, and they muscularly, bro. This ain't like big and fat or nothing like that, bro. They're like the biggest warrior you ever see, but they like 2-3 feet taller than you,
bro. I'm scared, bro.
Yeah, I'm petrified.
Bro, like Boban Bogdanovic,
yeah,
7'2".
I ain't trying to fight him on
Taco Fall. I don't, bro. These guys, even if you skinny, bro, you too big.
Right, and that's only 7 foot. Imagine Shock in his prime talking, but he trying to fight you, bro. Come on, dog. Come on, bro. Like that ain't something you can be confident about. Like,
then imagine these people probably is even taller. So imagine you got this 12 foot, bro. Like someone 12 foot, they pretty much they taller than your roof.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. Like I mean, just having an adversary or opponent who is super tall, bro, that's gonna instill fear. Because truthfully, they're saying like ain't no guns and thing around. Understand what I'm saying? You could assume that these people, because they so tall, they super strong too. It's like scaled the same way. So you hit someone with all your might, that might just be they might be more impervious to damage from you. You know what I mean? You shoot them with an arrow, but your strength might not be that strong to really cause dramatic effect. You understand what I'm saying? So I can see why these people lack faith, but at the same time, the text start off God saying, bro, yeah, bro,
I'm giving you this line.
Exactly. So at what point God was lying? You don't think the Egyptians wanted to put up a fight, bro? But they couldn't. They couldn't even get to fight y'all because that was they got swallowed in the water. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, bro, y'all already defeat an army who came and sneak y'all from behind. You understand what I'm saying? Now, granted, none of them was as big and as intimidating as these people. That's a fact. But at the end of the day, y'all have something that all them lack. Y'all have a God who bigger than all of them. Truthfully, you understand what I'm saying? Y'all don't see all type of miracles and stuff happen, bro. Y'all see people who go on to sleep and wake up and their first mom's just dead, bro. You see fire, hail, all this stuff coming from the sky at the same time, bro. God say I can give you all the worst hailstorm y'all ever seen in Egypt, like ever, bro. Y'all should be thinking, oh, God about to pull something. He about to show us something new today. You understand what I'm saying? But they didn't see that. They was thinking from the human. You understand? They was putting matters into their own hands as if they was gonna be the reason why they would win this fight in any reality. You know, truthfully, they might, bro. Some of these countries was thriving when they was enslaved, bro. Some of these countries had a military system in place for probably hundreds of years before y'all even became a free nation. So they probably have far more experience than y'all at the end of the day. What edge do you honestly think y'all had? Like, honestly, what edge do y'all have? Y'all never revolt against the Egyptians. And they was normal size. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, you should know that your secret weapon is always God. And these was the leaders.
These were the leaders who lacked this much faith.
Exactly, bro. If the leaders lacked the faith, you know that society was kind of doing, bro. These your leaders faulty enough.
Mm-hmm. And so now we see, and picking up from chapter 14, that night all the people of the community raised their voices and wept aloud. All the Israelites grumbled against Moses and Aaron. And the whole assembly said to them, if only we had died in Egypt.
Once again.
In this desert.
Once again, they always talking about dying, bro. Oh, you bring us out here to die. If only we to die in Egypt, bro. Like,
and see, they even kick it up a notch. Why is the Lord bringing us to this land only to let us fall by the sword? Our wives and children will be taken as plunder. Wouldn't it be better for us to go back to Egypt? And they said to each other, we should choose a leader and go back to Egypt.
And they were serious this time. They ain't even in the face of danger, bro. These spies, people, the places that they spied on, wasn't even aware that they was there or not. You understand? Like, they ain't in no danger, bro.
They ain't even on y'all run yet.
That's what I'm saying, bro. They're not even paying y'all no mind, bro.
Y'all little grasshoppers.
But yeah, right, true. And then at the same time, you can see how they just planted seeds of discord among everybody else. So all of y'all, if your leaders come back and saying, bro, these people could kill us, and this your leader showing this lack of faith and showing that they scared. Imagine that, bro. Like, imagine you with your parents, like, as a little kid.
And I'd be like, bro, y'all done been gone for 40 days, but y'all come back alive. Like, what y'all really scared for, bro? Y'all bring back grapes, y'all bring back some pomegranates, y'all bring back some other stuff. Some figs.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how they just could have blended in.
Like, no one see y'all like that?
No one noticed y'all, like... Nah, and that go to show that not everyone was super tall.
Yeah.
You understand? Because if y'all come in regular height, y'all would stick out like a sore thumb type of thing, you know? And you can imagine that they was probably of the same, like, complexion and stuff like that, because a lot of these races was, like, your cousins and, you know,
really and truly.
Yeah, just a different line from the descendants of Abraham sometimes. And, yeah, bro, I mean, shoot. Y'all was there for 40 days. I guess they probably was scared them 40 days, too. You know what I mean? They probably just couldn't wait to get out. So when they get out, they were so scarred. They was like, no, but we about to die if we go to fight them. You know?
Then why start the report so good?
True.
So I'll be like, bro, we can't do this.
We got good news and bad news.
Yeah. It is flowing with milk and honey, but we can't do nothing about
it. No, it is flowing with milk and honey. We get that part right. But ain't no way we beating them, bro. Truthfully.
Then Moses and Aaron fell face down in front of the whole Israelite assembly that gathered there. Joshua, son of Nun, and Caleb, son of Jephunneh, who were among those who explored the land, tore their clothes and said to the entire Israelite assembly, the land we passed through and explored is exceedingly good. If the Lord is pleased with us, he will lead us into that land, a land flowing with milk and honey, and he will give it to us. Only do not rebel against the Lord, and do not be afraid of the people in the land, because we will swallow them up. Their protection is gone, but the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid of them. Caleb and Joshua breaking it down for y'all. Guess what? Yes, they are big, but ain't no one protecting them. We literally have God on our side.
And that's all they coming with, you know.
I don't even get deep in my body, guys. The Egyptians got swallowed up in the Red Sea. They used to all manner of plagues befall them. We get manna every morning. Y'all complain about quail. We get too much quail.
Bro, they already experienced plagues from God among themselves, bro. God put plagues on them when they was worshiping the calf and stuff like that, bro. Like,
exactly.
Imagine that, bro. Imagine God come and make everyone blind.
Bro, we have a cloud of fire, a pillar of fire and a cloud by day guiding us through the desert. The cloud bring us here. Like, what more y'all want now? Like, this literally what we came out of Egypt for. We right here. Now y'all getting cold feet? And now y'all talking reckless? Let's pulling your neck to go back into slavery?
You hear what people saying though, bro? Man, do you don't think it'd be better we go back in Egypt? But imagine that, bro. Imagine how much y'all have to go through just to go back to Egypt, bro. Just to be slaves again. What the plan is when y'all get there? Because you know you could complain again. Knowing them, They can say, man, I wish we was back in the wilderness. As soon as they get back to the hard labor, I wish we was back in the wilderness, X, Y, Z. Because that's one thing. But them, they never could cease to compare their living situation. Any inconvenience, they reminiscing on the time and they didn't have that problem. But Caleb and Joshua, they wasn't coming saying, bro, we trained for this X, Y, Z. They was like, bro, the Lord is with us, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Their protection is gone. But the Lord is with us. Do not be afraid.
If God is for us, who could be against us?
Exactly. And they understand that fundamental truth, bro. We have a secret weapon. And it ain't gonna be too much of a secret when we start to get busy, because this weapon don't lose, bro. You understand?
Undefeated.
Undefeated, truthfully. But they didn't see that. It's safe to say they didn't see it that way.
No, because we see right in verse 10, but the whole assembly talked about stoning them. The glory of the Lord appeared at the tent of meeting to all the Israelites. The Lord said to Moses, how long will these people treat me in contempt? How long will they refuse to believe in me, in spite of all the miraculous signs I performed among them? I will strike them down with a plague and destroy them, but I will make you a nation greater and stronger than they. You see God saying, okay, nah. And that's kind of what I'm thinking too. I mean, granted, I could they're just stupid at this point, man. I can't even
Because truthfully, bro, you and I, we have a finite understanding of things. We have a humanistic view of things, and we have natural biases, right? If God's saying this, God knows all things, and God is right. So, truthfully, it's like y'all just ain't making sense, bro.
God saying y'all not more than enough. I've shown you more than enough for you to believe in me now.
If God said, bro, you can't refute it, bro. So this have to be true. We can't say, oh, we just thinking about it because we wasn't there. Da da da. No, if we was there or not, bro, the truth is the truth, bro. Y'all had enough evidence to not be acting like this. You understand? And it's a you problem at this point. and God about to give y'all what he was about to give y'all an enemy. He about to strike y'all down with the plague and destroy y'all.
Moses said to the Lord, then the Egyptians will hear about it. By your power you brought these people out of among by your power you brought these people from among them, and they will tell the inhabitants of this land about it. They will already have heard you, O Lord, are with these people, and that you, O Lord, have been seen face to face, and that your cloud stays over them, and that you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. If you put these people to death all at one time, the nations who have heard this report about you will say the Lord was not able to bring these people into the land he promised them on earth. So he slaughtered them in the desert. Now may the Lord's strength be displayed, just as you have declared. The Lord is slow to anger, abounding in love, and forgiving in sin and rebellion. He using God's own words against him. He said, remember when we was on the mountain, you said you are slow to anger. You said you are abounding in love, forgiving sin and rebellion. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children. Like, this is literally what God said to him on the mountain. His title. He punishes the children for their sin to their fathers to the third and fourth generation. In accordance with your great love, forgive the sin of these people, just as you have pardoned them from the time they left Egypt until now.
We can see where Moses has been pleading on behalf of the Israelites
Hard.
in multiple scenarios.
And you
bro.
see God saying again, guess what? I could kill him and I could just start over with you.
And God keep reminding him of that, you know. And he's saying, "Oh man, God, man, please." Sometimes he's be like, "Man, if you believe in me, give them a pass." Or sometimes he'd be like, "Well, we don't want to give our enemies that bragging rights and have them thinking that we couldn't fulfill the job." Because Moses say this like the second time he say that. You know, this time he bring up Egypt. Before it was like just the surrounding cities when they was in the desert of Sinai. And so we can see where Moses really just show his humility, because truthfully, these words hurt Moses every time. And Moses always saying, "Bro, you meet me with contempt," like type of thing. Like, why y'all doing this? But this time they bypass Moses a little bit. This time they going straight to God on the low. You understand what I'm saying? Like saying, "God, bring us here to get killed," you know. And this just proves the point that Moses was truly a humble guy. Last episode we see where Moses faulty up a lot. Like you can see he had a breaking point, you know, and that ain't his last breaking point. Sad to say. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The pressure can get to Moses once again.
Pressure will be tall.
Too tall. Too tall for Moses to climb. But here we see Moses was able to, you know, speak to God in a way to have God show mercy, you know.
We see in verse 20, the Lord replied, "I have forgiven them as you asked. Nevertheless, as surely as I live, and as surely as the glory of the Lord fills the whole earth, not one of the men who saw my glory and miraculous signs I performed in Egypt and in the desert, but who disobeyed me and tested me 10 times. Not one of them will ever see the land I promised on an oath to their forefathers. No one who has treated me with contempt will ever see it. But because my servant Caleb has a different spirit and follows me wholeheartedly, I will bring him into the land he went to, and his descendants will inherit it. Since the Amalekites and the Canaanites are living in the valleys, turn back tomorrow and set out toward the desert along the route to the Red Sea.
Wow. So they going right back.
And some people might say this unfair, but let me pose it to you this way. If you didn't want to go into the land of Canaan, why should I let you go?
I don't see how some people could even say that's unfair, bro, truthfully. Because they just verbalize that, bro, let's pick a leader and let's go back to Egypt. How you can get back to Egypt? You understand what I'm saying? They had to cross the Red Sea to get where they was now. So they headed back to Egypt. Like, they get, remember what we say last week, bro? Go, what you asked for, God
going to give you, and that's exactly what God did. God said, I'm honoring your wishes. You are pretty much saying you're going to stone Moses and Aaron, you're going to stone Caleb and Joshua, because they saying y'all could conquer the land, y'all don't want to go in the land. So God's saying, guess what? The Canaanites, Amalekites, they ain't moving right now. They stay there. So since y'all don't want to go there, guess where y'all going? Back in the desert. I give them, that's what y'all want, right? Y'all don't want to go into Canaan? Okay, y'all can stay in the desert.
Yeah, and then y'all too hard-headed, man. Y'all too stiff-necked, and that's what God's saying. Truthfully, he already saying, like, y'all test me 10 times. I could have killed y'all a long time. Bro, God promised to lead them here. Remember he was telling Moses, bro, anyway, y'all go to the land because I promise y'all this, but I ain't going to be there with you. You understand? Y'all could have get what y'all wanted, you know. Y'all could have get here without me. But through Moses, I promise in Moses, I can go there with you. And now y'all saying, oh, my wife and my kids, they want to plunder us and they want to kill us and then, you know, do this to my wife and my kids, X, Y, Z. So he said, all right, you worrying about your wife and kids so much? All right, you who worrying about your wife and kids, you can miss out on it. You see what I'm saying? Your kids ain't do nothing at this point. You see what I'm saying? So your kids, everyone who wasn't involved with this complaining and worrying about the wrong things could get to see it, but not you. And so we can see they starting to backtrack. They got to head back, and let me tell you why we could honestly say these people just really unreasonable now, dog. Because you say everyone want to go to the land and make it, honey, right? The people come back and say, bro, this a fruitful land, bro. Like this truly is the promised land. Ain't no land more lush. Because remember how Sodom and Gomorrah was from back then, bro. We back in the land of Canaan. You understand what I'm saying? This ain't necessarily like a desert type of place, bro. This a land lush and promising, right? So y'all get there, but it's one obstacle. You just have to defeat this one obstacle, and you can get to the promised land. You can get everything that we work so hard for, you know, X, Y, Z. And you turn around and say, no, we can't do it, man. We about to die. We know we about to die. And let's say y'all right? Y'all say, all right, we got to get a leader to turn back around, right? God do y'all what you want even better. He said, y'all definitely ain't gonna see this land. But don't worry, turn back around. We about to set out toward the desert along the route of the Red Sea. But these people decide they ain't feeling that neither. And that's why I saying these people ain't reason. I ain't gonna spoil it, but I just saying, bro, like, what y'all want God to do? Truthfully, what y'all want him to do? He tell y'all do this, y'all know we ain't gonna do it. He tell you, all right, we can do what you say to do. No, we ain't doing that neither. Like, it's crazy, bro. Like,
because you don't know what you want.
Exactly. You just want to complain, though.
Just even to get like to progress the story. So we see the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, how long will this wicked community grumble against me? I have heard the complaints of the grumbling Israelites. So tell them, as sure as I live, declares the Lord, I will do the very things I heard you say. In the desert, your bodies will fall. Every one of you, 20 years old or more, who was counted in the census and who has grumbled against me, not one of you will enter the land I swore with uplifted hands to make your home, except Caleb son of Nun and Caleb son of Jephunneh and Joshua son of Nun. As for your children that you said would be taken as plunder, I will bring them into the land and enjoy the land you rejected. But your bodies will fall in the desert. Your children will be the shepherds here for 40 years, suffering for your unfaithfulness, until the last of your bodies lies in the desert. For 40 years, 1 year for each of the 40 days you explored the land, you will suffer for your sins, and know what it is like to have me against you. I, the Lord, have spoken, and I will surely do these things to the whole wicked community, which has banded together against me. They will meet their end in the desert. Here they will die. So the men Moses had sent to explore the land, who returned and made the whole community grumble against him by spreading a bad report about it. These men responsible for spreading the bad report about the land were struck down and died of a plague before the Lord. Of the men who went to explore the land, only Joshua and Caleb survived. When Moses reported this to all the Israelites, they mourned bitterly. Early the next morning, they went up toward the high hill country. We have sinned, they said. We will go up to the place the Lord promised. But Moses said, why are you disobeying the Lord's command? This will not succeed.
The other way now.
This will not succeed. Moses said, do not go up, because the Lord is not with you. You will be defeated by your enemies, for the Amalekites and the Canaanites will face you there. Because you have turned away from the Lord, he will not be with you, and you will fall by the sword. Nevertheless, in their presumption, they went up towards the hill country, though neither Moses nor the ark of the Lord's covenant moved from the camp. The Amalekites and Canaanites lived in the hill country, came down and attacked them and beat them down all the way to Hormah.
That sounds so savage, bro. They beat them all the way to... You know, someone said, bro, I could beat you from here all the way to Hormah, bro.
But my thing is, like, just even thinking tactically, how you fighting people in the hills,
Climbing
bro?
up a hill. That don't
You
make sense,
automatically
bro.
the disadvantage, bro.
Yeah, bro. That
God ain't with you, and y'all fighting from a position of weakness.
Yeah, that's
When y'all had the power of strength, y'all didn't want to take it. But now you want to go in a position of weakness? No.
And y'all doing it without y'all leaders, bro. Like, the leaders just died. Bro, these people just lost, dog. So,
I'm like, Joshua, the one who ready, ain't with y'all.
Ain't with y'all, bro.
Caleb ain't with y'all. Moses and Aaron ain't with y'all. The Ark of the Covenant still in the camp, and y'all want to take it amongst yourself and go?
no, it's too crazy, bro, because they verbalized that they about to do this before. It ain't like they just want to do it.
They wanted some reassurance.
Yeah, Moses them was like, no,
No,
bro, why
y'all
y'all
a mess up.
Why y'all disobeying God in this manner? But truthfully, I feel like they know they back was against the wall, bro. Because, like, think about it, right? Imagine you live in a household, right? You're the only person who like trust God and stuff like that, right? Your whole house complaining about God, and you in your mind you're just like iron and that, and then the Lord spoke, and the judgment was anyone 20 years old who complain about God, will die before they see the promised land. And you know for a fact you're the only one who will complain about God, and you're looking like, oh man, all y'all gonna die before y'all see this promised land, right? You looking at them, you sad for them, but their demeanor is like, bro, it's crazy, but the only way I can see this promised land is if I go and take this myself.
Take it now.
Now, truthfully, y'all already knew, bro, and this way y'all just super confused. Caleb and Joshua, they say we could do this through God. Y'all ain't have God this time. God showing, he said, I can show y'all what it's like for me to be against y'all. That was God's words to them. So now you know you going and you fighting without the help of God. So where all this courage coming from now, bro? Because y'all just, bro, just like a couple of days before this, y'all was just like, oh no, let's go back to Egypt. And now, after all of the people who say we wasn't gonna do it, get a plague and die, y'all still playing with God, bro. It ain't occur to y'all to say, man, Caleb, them ain't die. Moses, them is the leaders. Let's make sure we do what they supposed to do. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know how y'all thought that going against these guys was a good idea at all. Like, to me, that don't make any sense.
No sense at all. Yeah, and you see they perish. And it just shows, man, like, how their hearts were at that time too. Like, it was more about them and what they wanted than what God was commanding them to do. God said, go take the land. Y'all say, no, we ain't doing that. No, we can't. We can't do that. We can't beat them.
Then God said, all right, y'all can turn around and y'all ain't go.
Oh yeah, we could beat them now.
Yeah, we can beat them now. We have sinned.
And it's just so frustrating, right? Because I'm like, bro, if y'all just had this same energy 2 days ago, y'all would have been in the promised
Y'all
land.
been there, bro.
I mean, like, I would have been like 6 chapters shorter.
I telling you, and remember how we started the episode, we were saying, oh, bro, 13 chapters in, they make it to the promised land. And what they do? Fumble the bag, bro. God throw the alley-oop right at the rim, bro, and y'all miss. All you have to do is put it in the rim. That's all you have to do. All you have to do is show up for the assignment. You see what I'm saying?
Man. And now you know, like, and then it's like you punishing your kids too. Like, nah, everybody got to be in this desert for 40 more years. 40 years, bro, like everybody else. That means the people who are 20, they can be 60 when they get in there. And God say, not until any one of y'all. That means, you know, at most, I have 40 years left to live.
So you know for a fact, if you're a young kid, you spending most of your life in this wilderness. You know that's your reality. I could be here for 40 years. And this wasn't like back in them times when they was living to be so old and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, most of y'all who could make it to the promised land and live half your life in the wilderness. Because of your parents.
Because of your parents' lack of faith, bro.
And you can't in no way say God wasn't being righteous with this because God gave them too much chances, bro. At the end of the day, God, I already doing y'all a favor. I supposed to kill y'all multiple mess ups ago. You understand what I'm saying? And I still be impatient with y'all. I showing y'all what to do so we could live together in XYZ. But it's like y'all just was against that, bro. Like y'all just didn't want to behave. Y'all just didn't want to cooperate. Y'all just was difficult. If I tell y'all do one thing, y'all say no. I say, all right, y'all can't do this a thing no more. They say, oh no, we want to do that now. Y'all just really being in opposition to God, and that's how the devil really confused them. Had them thinking wrong is right. Had them thinking they say or their needs go above God's instructions. And it definitely wasn't like that.
Mercy. Yeah, I don't like. Should we go to chapter 15?
Yeah.
All right. So the Lord said to Moses, speak to the Israelites, say to them, after you enter the land I am giving you as a home, and present to you to the Lord's offerings. Hold on. And you present the Lord offerings made by fire from the herd or for the flock as the aroma pleasing to the Lord, whether burnt offerings, sacrifices for special vows, free will offerings, or festival offerings. Then the one who brings his offering shall present it to the Lord, a grain offering, 1/10 of an ephah, 1 fine flour mixed with 1/4 of hin of oil. With each lamb for the burnt offering of sacrifice, prepare 1/4 of hin of wine as a drink offering. So this kind of goes back to the offerings we talked about in Exodus and Leviticus.
Yeah, so only one thing a few things in the chapter I want to point out.
Go for it.
Chapter Numbers 15 verse 13. So with the offerings in mind, and they talk about multiple different types of offerings, like celebration offerings, stuff like that, right? And it says, everyone who is native born must do these things in this way when they present a food offering as an aroma pleasing to the Lord. Verse 14. For the generations to come, whenever a foreigner or anyone else living among you presents a food offering as a pleasing aroma to the Lord, they must do exactly as you do. The community is to have the same rules for you and for the foreigner residing among you. This is a lasting ordinance for generations to come. You and the foreigner shall be the same before the Lord. The same laws and regulations will apply both to you and to the foreigner residing among you. So these are little read between the lines things, and this right here is just a direct proof or evidence that they did have foreigners among them. So Earl and I reference Egyptians living among them, but I know it might be difficult for people to even understand that or agree with that because the Bible didn't just naturally say, yeah, when they left Egypt, people came with them. We knew that they plundered them and they had their possessions and stuff like that. But here we can see this right here was just speaking about the types of offerings, and then even for generations to come, when you have the foreigners among you are to do it the same way as you, XYZ. And who else would the foreigners be besides Egyptians, maybe Edomites or whoever was just around enjoying the camp, you know?
We know they had some Cushites and some Midianites.
For sure. And so it then goes on to offerings for unintentional sins. But I want to go down to verse 32. This was just a random story. When the Israelites were in the wilderness, a man was found gathering wood on the Sabbath day. Those who found him gathering wood brought him to Moses and Aaron and the whole assembly, and they kept him in custody because it was not clear what should be done to him. Then the Lord said to Moses, the man must die. the whole assembly must stone him outside the camp. So the assembly took him outside the camp and stoned him to death, as the Lord commanded Moses. And then later on in the chapter, they go on to just talk about tassels on your garments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, throughout the generations to come, you are to make tassels on the corner of your garments with blue cord. On each tassel, you will have these tassels to look at, and so you will remember all the commandments of the Lord. So this was just a reminder. This is something that they wear just to remember the commandments of the Lord, that you may obey them and not prostitute yourselves by chasing after the lust of your own hearts and eyes. Then you will remember to obey all the commands and will be consecrated to your Lord. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of the house, out of Egypt, to be your God. I am your Lord. So yeah, that was Numbers 13 through 15. Just a recap. Within year 2, they now are approaching the promised land. They sent a few leaders from each tribe, a leader from each tribe, to go to visit, to spy on the area and to give a report. A report of the land that was already promised to them by God. 10 out of 12 spies came back with a bad report, and they planted seeds of fear and anger throughout the whole Israelite nation. They all wanted to stone the 2 people who had a good report, you know, and they led to just completely sending their frustrations to God to the point where they wanted to move back. And God said, okay, well, if this is what you truly want, this is what I'm going to give you. I'm not going to allow you all to go to this thing under no circumstances. You all had my blessing before, but now I'm removing that. And everything that y'all said was going to happen, everything that y'all said that I planned out to make happen for you, I'm about to give you a way to that. You understand what I'm saying? It's a similar way how Pharaoh hardened his heart, and we can see how God hardened Pharaoh's heart as well, giving you over to your own heart's desire because you have denied and resisted me for so long. And we always talk about the Hebrews. We always talk about this Israelite people, and we talk about how this is an example of Christians today, human beings in general. And one fundamental truth is that hardening your heart can only lead to you bringing this negative energy, or everything that you doubt God will do for you will actually come to pass because of the way you carry your heart. Most of the times when we see sin in the Bible, it's usually a heart issue. We have the Pharisees, who I bring up a lot. They kept these commands to the T. They even added commands on top of commands, but it was a heart issue with them. Their heart was not in the right place. Their heart was not in the right place, and they didn't know God, and they didn't trust God, and they didn't recognize God when they saw him. In the same way, these people saw God, but they did not have a connection with God in any type of way. They treat God like he was some type of stepbrother or somebody who is not truly their family, or someone who they did not really care about. They treat God like as if this wasn't their father and this wasn't their God. This was just some average Joe who will run out of blessings, who will run out of power one day. And that's because truly their hearts never actually got connected with God. So every chance they get, whenever it was time for them not to lean onto their own understanding, they chose to lean on their own understanding. And after a while, that becomes so much of a slap in God's face. So they say, all right, you must know better than me, so I'm going to give you exactly what you want. Quite an unsuccessful trip for the 12 Israelite spies. Here we see where 2, Caleb and Joshua, were the only ones who had faith in the Lord to conquer their enemies. The other 10, through their disbelief, inspired the Israelites into a rebellion against the Lord. But the rebellions are just getting started. So join us next week as we talk about Moses' cousin Korah on the next episode of A Breath of Fresh Air. Tonight's episode included voice acting by Dominic McFall, as well as your hosts, Earl Roberts and Nakhaz. Remember to go ahead and research on your own in order to get a more firm understanding of tonight's episode. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. You can follow us on social media at A Breath of Fresh Air Pod on Instagram and BOFAPOD on Twitter. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you next week.